I've been getting very excited when I'm in the shower, you know. No, not that, no, because I've been using this wonderful soap, you see. This here. It's very good, you know. You see, the thing is that it's approved by Dermot O'Leary, you see. And I like him, he's very nice. And also it's been tested by experts, you see, to show how good it is, you know. And I think that's really good, you see, because if it was tested by people who didn't know what they were talking about or had no training in it, that'd be useless, wouldn't it? Although Nobby Nibbler did suggest that's how we elect our government. Anyway, I took a look at it and it says, Femme for intimate skin care, you see. Well, I've always been intimate with my skin, you know. I mean, I'm very close to it, you know. I mean, we've been very attached, you know, for a long time, you see. So I've been using this in the shower and it's really good, you know. Anyway, well, my wife Barbara, you see, she's a psychiatrist. She caught me doing this, you know, soapy business. She said, you can't do that. I said, why not? She said, it's not for you, Hugo. And I said, why? I can't see why. It's for intimate skin. I've got intimate skin. My skin's intimate. What's your problem? She said, no. She said, you can't use it because you haven't got a vagina. I thought that was a bit, you know. It's not my fault I haven't got a vagina. Anyway, I was telling this to Nobby Nibbler, you see. Not his real name. And I was saying to him, I said, Nobs, she said, I can't use it because I haven't got a vagina, you see. And he said, well, I've got a vagina. And this took me aback somewhat, you know. I'm not easily shocked, but this was news to me. Anyway, then I realised what he meant, you know. So I said to him, plastic ones don't count. And he said, it counts for me. He said, it's the best pen holder I've ever had. My friend Tristan works for a television production company, you see. He's very good, you know, he's a very clever chap. Anyway, he was telling me that his company's been taken over by an American consortium conglomerate thing, corporation. Anyway, they've been told to be less formal, you see. And they have to, you know, they have to shorten their names to be cool and groovy. So my friend Tristan is now Tris, you see. Which I don't think really suits him. Anyway. And you know, the American manager has just moved in, you see, been going around bullying people into shortening their names to be groovy and trendy, you see. So John Paul, you know, who's French, has to be known as Joe Pa. You know. Anyway, one of Tristan's colleagues is a gentleman called Mr. Smith, previously. But he used to use both his Christian names, you see. You know, as people do, you know, like John Paul, whatever, you know. Anyway, his Christian names were Barry and Matthew, so everybody called him Barry Matthew. Hello, Barry Matthew. Sounded like Barry Manilow, but you know, Barry Matthew, you see. Anyway, so the Americans arrived, and he had to shorten his name, you see, so he had to be groovy. So Tristan was telling me all this. He says, yes, now he has to be known as Baz Matty. And I said, oh, that's right. Nice. And he said, it bloody isn't. The other day I was in the park, it was a beautiful summer's day, with my friend Nobby Nibbler, not his real name. Now, Nobby likes to wear Wellington boots, you see. He says they're very practical, you know, easy to get on and off. And they keep your feet dry, you see, and they're very good, anyway. We went out on this day, it was a beautiful day, really warm, you know, lovely, absolutely gorgeous day. Anyway, he had a special pair of Wellingtons on that he had sort of amended slightly, or altered, you know, with a craft knife. He'd cut out chunks of the bottom part of it, you see, so there were holes in, you know, rather like sandals, you see. And I said to him, I said, why on earth are you wearing those stupid Wellington boots? He said, no, he said, no, he said, they're summer Wellingtons, you see. You know, they're very, very helpful. He said, they're sort of like, you know, Jesus boots, you know. They're the kind of Wellingtons that Jesus would have worn when it was raining. The man's a complete idiot. As you may be aware, I have my finger on the pulse of professional football, you know. I know what's going on, I know the vibes, you know. You know, Gary Lineker phones me up and says what's going on, and I, you know, tell him. And Alan Shearer phones me up for grammar lessons when he can't conjugate verbs, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, it has come to my attention, you see, that Lionel Messi, who plays for Barcelona and Argentina, is approaching the end of his career, you see. Now, the world over, you see, there are parents and toddlers who, thinking themselves original and witty and clever, you see, have bought their little offspring, 3-4-year-olds, you know, Barcelona shirts with the word Messi on the back, you see, ha ha ha, very funny. Anyway, but the thing is, you see, these little shirts have sold in their millions, and they go for about 80 quid a go, you know, they're really expensive. So anyway, so Barcelona have been able to, you know, buy players like Lupi Sanchez and, you know, and all these other Coutinho for vastly inflated prices because they've been flogging all these Messi shirts, you see, all over the world, you know. Anyway, so the powers that be at Barcelona have realised that when Messi retires, you see, this particular fund of income, the stream, will dry up, you see, and they won't have any money. What are they going to do anyway? So they've alerted their scouting teams all over the world, you know, and now they're looking for a young and up-and-coming footballer who goes by the name of Incontinent of Bladder. The other day I was cycling around the lake near my house, you know, very pretty. It's very pretty. It's got a big wide sort of path around it, you know, and it's very beautiful and very scenic, you see, and people walk and they walk their dogs and push prams and whatnot. There's an ice cream van, people go on bikes and scooters and so on, you see, to enjoy the beautiful lake and all the scenery, you know. Anyway, so it was very busy. I was picking my way through on my bicycle, you know. Anyway, I went past this group of people and this hound barked at me, you know, I mean, stupid thing. Anyway, so I stopped my bicycle. I thought, I'm not having this, you know. And I turned around and glared, and this woman said to me, "You and your stupid bloody bicycle." And I thought, that's charming. And I said to her, and I thought, I'll get you, this is to sort you out. So I came up with a brilliant riposte, you see. I said, at least my bicycle doesn't make stupid, incoherent noises, terrifying people, and generally spreading shit all over the place. Which I thought was a pretty good riposte, you know. Anyway, I glared at this lady. As I was delivering this, you see, I realised that the single group that I believe was homogeneous, you know, including the dog, was in fact two groups, you see. Now, unfortunately, the lady I was referring this riposte to, you see, wasn't a member of the group with the dog. It was just her and this fella, you know, who I assume was her husband. And they parted ways while I was delivering this riposte of, you know. Anyway, so the dog people disappeared round this corner, and then she was left glaring at me, I was left glaring at her. And she was glaring at me. Anyway, then she looked at her husband, you see. Up and down a bit, you know. She turned back to me, she said, "Maybe you've got a point." The other week I was, you know, at the test match, you know, at Headingley, you know, as a spectator, you know, in the members' bar, as I often am, having a few jars, watching some cricket. It was really good, you know. Anyway, I went for a bit of a wander around lunchtime, you know, round the back, you know, as one does. And I bumped into Geoffrey. I said, "Geoffrey, how are you doing, matey?" He said, "Oh, I'm doing okay, thank you." You know, I said, "Yes." I said, "Tell me, you know, who's this new Pakistani leg spinner?" And he said, "Shut up," and walked off, you see. I was only asking, you know.